All right, welcome. So we are here at Volunteers Green and Browns Court Project Committee meeting on Thursday, January 30th, and it's 7 o'clock, so we're gonna get going. The first item on the agenda is review minutes from the meeting that we held November 21st, 2024. Does anyone have any corrections, deletions, suggestions?
I gave them all to Jean before she published it.
And this is just a question. I have one. Should we put LaFave as a member absent since she technically is still a member of our committee? Okay. Will you let Jeannie know that?
Yeah, I guess I'm supposed to take.
Oh, perfect.
I'm
Awesome.
supposed to do stuff.
Okay, and we can help.
Yeah, I'm gonna need somebody to do the time.
Okay, no problem. You got it.
Did you guys get my email?
Yes.
concerning the open law?
Yes,
Open law?
I did. Yeah. And we can talk about that when I was figured we'd let John get going so he can boogie, but we can talk about all that after, if that's okay with you.
Let me just bring one thing on the minutes.
Okay.
It said the minutes that were draft minutes were the official minutes, but what if somebody makes a change here? How does that?
So my understanding is that when Duncan put him up as draft minutes, and I'm sure he was trying to tidy his desk, maybe, I'm not sure, but he puts him up and the big red stamp is draft. So that after we meet to approve or not approve, then he goes in and makes changes and takes the red draft
Okay.
off.
So if we made changes
We
tonight.
re-provide it to him.
Right, and then we re-provide to Duncan and just say this was the only change we had, if it is indeed. But that's my understanding, and many of the other committees do that as well. They'll put them up for people who want to know what
So they
happened
can see it more soon
sooner.
after.
Yeah, instead of
versus
like.
We don't meet that often anymore.
I mean, we
So
haven't
more
met since November and here we're almost February. So I think that's why they went up as a draft. And Jeannie's so good to get them to Duncan. So,
I think they always have to go up as a draft.
right,
And I think that they have to have them in like 5 minutes, it's 5 days.
Yeah.
right.
After the meeting. And then I think if somebody, when we meet the next time, that people will have looked through it, they make their suggestions for corrections and not either Jeannie, and I don't know how Jeannie does it, whether she makes the corrections and sends that copy to Duncan.
She does.
Yeah.
She does.
Or whether she just says to him, could you change this?
Right. So before we continue, does anyone else have any suggestions?
So there are a lot of typos, there's a lot of errors.
Okay, do you have them all ready to go?
I thought I had given her a lot of them.
Well, I think it has
From
to
her
be
draft.
based, I think it has to be based on what is up on. What's up on website,
Oh, the website has errors.
yes.
in the minutes that were drafted then. So she sent them at the same time she sent them to us. Then Fran sent edits.
Right, and other
And then
people
that
said
didn't get
edits.
redrafted, right, that
Okay.
didn't get re-put up to the site. It was the first, whatever the first version was, is the one that's on the website. So what she's saying is that then the version that's out there is the one that we're supposed to be like approving, is what she's saying. I don't know that.
Yeah.
I think
That's true,
I'd
but-
wait until Jeannie came back, but she has an updated
Right,
draft.
right. Does anybody know when she's getting back?
I think she was only gone for a week.
A week, I do too. She's out in
My-
Florida.
My question is if they're just typos,
What difference?
can we just say that the minutes are materially accurate and the typos will be cleaned up and we approve it? I mean, even if
With
you-
clerical errors.
To be
Yeah.
frank, even if you posted it with typos, it's still factually accurate.
Yes.
It's not professional looking, obviously.
Right.
But the point of the minutes is to document the things we talked about and the things we approved. And if that's factually accurate, then I think we can approve.
Are you okay with that?
I don't think we need to go over the typos now.
Right, right.
I think those are something that we go over with Jean.
Right.
If there's some if you have some factual concerns in
Well,
that.
I have a concern here in the draft that I saw on what's posted. It says see Fran's summary notes. But there isn't.
What part are you on?
First page.
See Fran summary notes.
Copy of the minutes.
Oh, so they need to be attached. Okay,
And I think. No, it's not. I think throughout the whole paper, she refers to it as Hillview Collaborative.
Oh, I had her change all that.
That's not what was on the site.
Right, because it's
She
the
hasn't
first
updated it
version.
yet. She hasn't,
She
she
sent
hasn't,
it to Duncan the same time she sent it to all of us. So any edits that were made by Fran, by anybody else
That
is not
center.
on the site until we finalize the version. And then they put the final one on. They don't send, she doesn't send them every single version of it. She sends them the first version and the final version.
what's the official title of your business?
Hillview Design Collaborative.
Okay,
so why don't we wait until Jean comes back and let's not approve the minutes.
right. Right, and we can approve both sets
Yeah,
next meeting,
yeah.
since they're still up there as a draft.
And see, she has all the changes. And I thought I got a copy of all the changes.
But she may not have
Yeah.
sent it to Duncan. She may have just sent it to you to say, does this
Sent
catch
to
all
me.
your
So
changes?
I think we're better off communicating with Jean right now.
Because we do need a Fran summary in there. Where, as an attachment, see Fran summary, and she can asterisk it and then just attach it on the back. And she might have been trying to do it to get out of, for a getaway, well,
It's the holidays.
it was the holidays, that's what it
So I
was.
wait till Jean comes back.
Were
Ask
there,
her to send us
Right.
a copy of where she's at on the minutes. And then look
Right.
at that,
okay, were there any other
factual.
factual corrections?
Mhm.
There were omissions, I think on the second page, she had it as blanks referring to your company, John.
Okay.
They normally charge, she had like dot, dot, dot.
I had her fill all that in,
But that's not what I saw.
but we're telling you, what's on the website is her initial draft.
They haven't
Then
updated it.
she hasn't updated it with all the changes that I gave her.
Why don't, when she gets home, why don't we have her send us her latest corrected revisions? And then we'll all go through them like meticulously so that everything, like she doesn't have Bob Neal's last name, which,
And I corrected.
and you
her
corrected
spelling.
that with Engineering Ventures. Right, so we'll all go through it, get them back to Jeannie as soon as possible, and then we'll approve them at our next meeting.
I think that's the way to go.
I think there was more than one draft. If I remember correctly.
On the website, there's one.
There's only one. Let's,
Yeah.
we're wasting our time.
Yeah.
Right now, let's just wait, and get what is her latest.
Yeah.
draft.
And we've got something up there and it says draft, so, and I'll talk to Duncan tomorrow and just say, Jeannie's on vacation. We'll get the typos and Fran's summary, we'll get that to you as soon as she's back. And I'm sure that they'll be fine, because if they had any clarification, if he or Joss needed any clarification, they would contact either Kendra or myself. Or
So
who-
The select board doesn't.
Yeah, they
Approve, they approve 2 or 3 sets.
sets at minutes at a time.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think we skip the next agenda item, which is also scheduling it for interest, and we'll come back to it. Does everybody?
perfect.
Thank you.
I think
Oh, go ahead.
Picky on this
Yes.
thing, okay, I am,
Mhm.
but any kind changes.
We just all agreed. So we all approved it.
Okay,
Right? Do you want a formal vote on?
We don't need to do formal votes.
No,
We don't.
because
need
we're
to
not
get into
going
all that.
to put the minutes up.
We're not
for-
removing it. We're simply moving the order of it, which the select board does all the time. We all just, I looked around the room.
Are you
everybody
talking
nodded.
about the agenda
Or the schedule.
or this, or the minutes?
I'm talking about the agenda.
Okay,
I think the open law meetings say, oh, yeah, the open meeting law says that if you make any kind of changes, you're supposed to be able to do it at any time during the meeting.
right.
Which I
So-
just did.
Any additions or deletions, okay, has to be voted upon, okay? What I don't know is if the open meeting law says that you have to do the minutes
No, it
at
doesn't.
at the very.
Oh, no, no,
No,
no,
it
no.
does not.
At the very
No.
beginning.
We've just, I mean, we can vote that we're tabling the approval of the official minutes of November 21st meeting until Jeannie's back for a verified new copy. We could vote on that if that would make you feel better.
Because the select board doesn't even look at their minutes until the end of their meeting.
Yeah,
There's no order to a meeting.
right.
that you have to
And then
have to-
like I've gone to select board meetings many times where the item I'm there for is at the bottom and I respectfully ask during public comment, is it possible to move item 13 to 2? So I don't have to stay here all
And
night.
then they'll say, anybody opposed?
Anybody opposed? And they say
Nobody?
no, so they
Move
move
it up.
all the stuff up. They've done it with us on Volunteers Green before. And Brown's Court.
I just had a bunch of questions, but I'm definitely contacting Josh.
Right. And I saw that he'd been contacting Josh and them, and I think we do a really good job with our minutes and our meetings, and, you know, they're warned properly. The minutes are better. I think our minutes are better than any committees out there, personally. I don't know, maybe I'm biased, but
I think Jeannie does a wonderful job.
I do too.
Well, and I tell you, I nitpick her meetings. her
Yes,
Minutes.
Yes,
I reviewed the Historical Society minutes from Monday night and I nitpick them.
Yep.
mhm.
So,
Yeah, there's just been so much stuff on this, so.
right. I mean, I would feel differently if I hadn't seen it happen so many times at select board meetings. But I mean, it happens at school board meetings too, Tess. The same thing. And sometimes they need clarification on the minutes before they can approve them. And most committees, to be honest with you, don't send them out to committees prior. They just do it in their packet in that night, and that's where they nitpicked some. But I mean, Jeannie's so good, she sends it out to us early.
Missing something, but. okay.
Okay. Public comment, nobody?
Is there somebody here?
no, that one's on for a minute.
She
Oh, she was,
back off. So if she comes back on, we can
we can ask
call
her.
her.
All right. It is my privilege to introduce Mr. John Lynn of Hillview Design Collaborative to do a presentation of potential volunteer green options.
I do have another couple of paper copies if that's helpful.
Are they different from?
No.
Okay.
Okay,
Exactly.
so I've got one, so you might as well take one and
I know.
We have one.
do you want to share Kendra's screen?
Love it. Shoot, flip through. That might be more clear, or we can flip through real time. We can try it either way.
So do you, what she means is, do you want to have it up on the computer at all?
Whatever you'd like. Doesn't matter, as long as people have copies and,
Well, no,
Right.
I don't, but I didn't receive it digitally, so if, did
Yeah,
anybody?
okay. Thought I'd sent them out.
I thought he did to you as
I
well.
thought you too, but maybe you've only.
Um,
said you need
I-
to,
Right, I think I just replied to the people to avoid.
Probably
the
The three.
Hold on, let me
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. I just was making sure everybody was fair. I'm happy to pull it up if somebody wants to forward me
Yeah,
the email,
I'll
but
go right now.
Do you have an extra?
I don't, but I bet I can do it from memory.
Well,
He's good.
Well, and if he puts it.
if you put, yeah, if she
if
can
they
send
put
it,
on
I
the
can get it
screen.
quite quickly up.
Yeah, sorry. Well, Kendra's pulling it up just kind of as an overview. We treated this as a design charrette in our office. That's why we ended up with 4 different versions. They are very rough versions at this stage. What we're hoping to do is come to you give you these different versions, and hopefully we can
Just send it to
refine
me.
the direction that we're going in.
Which sounds fair. There's no sense working on ones that we're not interested in. And
Exactly.
if they're somewhere interested in and we have some questions or thoughts.
I sent it to you twice. I'm not sure the first one went.
And I think presenting four to the town would be
Yeah.
a
we
bit of
don't wanna-
overkill. Yeah.
I agree.
I thought it was interesting and I loved, I mean, not that you don't as well, but the fact that your partner, Ben, built the bakery. Could you just give a little summary to the people that weren't at the meeting?
Sure.
How he's, I mean, as well as you, but I mean, you have half, or your family has a half share in that.
Did,
So, oh, did?
yeah.
So, oh,
So,
so
but
that, you know,
yeah.
you could,
20 years ago, something like that.
right,
My father and Ben Bush went on as partners for what's now the Stone's Throw building, used to be the bakery. I think everyone I know still calls it the bakery building.
so how do I do
Jerry
this?
Bresser had sold it to them. There were
How about
3
this?
mobile homes on the site. Those were removed.
Did you get,
Where the existing structure is right
look at the
now,
next one.
they went through,
sent you
they
another email.
dismantled that existing structure
I was
with a
afraid
bunch
I
of
did
help from
that.
volunteers. Rebuilt it, put it back up there. At the time, it was just outside of the floodplain. They since raised the flood level, so now it's within that. But that building has yet to flood. In Irene, it was the closest. It came within about an inch of the door.
I thought that was really interesting, you know, knowing that and, you know,
They
just,
certainly watched the flood level on
Yes.
every single flood because
Flood.
it gets very close to that building. It's an island.
I know. Oh, good.
You want to start with whichever one says existing band shell would be the
I think that's the best
first
place to
place to
begin.
start.
Yep.
She's
And I'll
just
go-
downloading the fourth one right now.
I'll walk you through in what I think is probably the lowest cost to highest cost. Just as a direction. Give you an idea of why we're going through that particular order. Perfect. Yep. So with that existing band shell, what we did, we left that where it was. We took the layout of the playground as it was originally presented it to us, added it to the plateau. We are assuming that the existing bathrooms and concession stand would go away, and that allows us to have more of a building footprint to put up some restrooms. In this case, we built, yeah, if you click perfect,
Which one's
Um,
the easiest one?
it doesn't
Envision
really
it.
matter. If you start at one, we'll work our way through and get to the floor plans. They're all sort of in the same order. With all of these, we have a view from the sidewalk looking out toward the new existing band shell or new pavilion.
And those, the, look like steps up are really just showing the contours of the.
Exactly.
of
We
the
took
land.
contours and it's like a foam core model. So instead of showing the sloping site, it's showing grade. It's a little more clear to be able to see where slopes are.
And that's looking from the sidewalk or the parking lot?
This is looking from the sidewalk.
Okay,
So you're not quite
Okay.
up to the peak, but close.
okay.
Shell's
Um,
right here.
In
Oh, that's
all
right.
of these, we have a bathroom. All of them have 2 bathrooms and some level of storage in between. Expecting there'd have to be a hot water heater. With all of these versions, what we tried to do, and it's less clear on this because we stuck with the existing band shell. On the other ones, it's important to note, you know, we tried to keep flood resistant features. You'll see in this bathrooms, we've got concrete up a few feet. So if it does flood, it's not affecting any wood structure. Assuming like wall hung toilets, so a little bit of water underneath, there's not a big deal. Electrical outlets can be mounted high, trying to get everything up and out of the floodplain as much as possible. With the other structures, we tried to reduce the building profile to the flow of the river. If the water does come through, right now, the existing band shell looks like it would just be a scoop facing up the stream. The intent with the other structures is to try and narrow that down and allow the water to flow through it. We tried as best we could to maximize the functionality and the flexibility of the plateau. There's not a lot of space up there, and we're trying to put a lot onto it. We also tried to maximize the lawn space around the playground and the pavilion. It's a bit difficult with the existing band shell. Maybe if we flip through these, we'll get a better illustration. This is a view from in front of what will be the new pavilions. In the other cases, in this case, it's to the side of the existing band shell, looking back toward the bridge. Bridge would be on your right. In the next image, it's looking from the existing playground up toward the band shell, obscured here by the trees. But thinking that if the farmer's market was down below, this is the view and the interaction that they would have with the playground, the bathroom, and the band shell or pavilion.
For the minutes, Tess, I would not try to capture
All the detail.
all the details. I would just say
Fine.
we were shown
Multiple versions.
multiple versions.
Sure. Each one of these versions has my description listed out on them as well.
On this first page, he has the pros and cons that he's been talking about.
So that
Exactly.
where the restroom building is sort of the high corner
Mhm.
It is.
of that plateau.
Closest to the road and the bridge.
In this
Yes.
version, yes. It's great. It's near the infrastructure. The downside is it's tucked very much into the back corner of the, well, front corner, I guess, of the volunteer screen.
Mm.
It's a long ways from where any other
Sports events and things.
event might happen. We just received an estimate. This is probably still the least expensive option. Replacing the existing band shell is my guess.
Mm-hmm.
Screen shows the footprint of the restrooms. It's two fairly straightforward ADA accessible restrooms with a utility space in between.
We thought the utility space could hold toilet paper, cleaning supplies. You had mentioned something else too.
Hot water heater.
Hot water heater, yeah.
It's not big enough to have much of any utility as far as storage outside of that.
Mhm.
Like down there right now, they keep the trash cans and stuff off season. They tuck them behind the band shell.
Mhm.
Aesthetically, this version is a bit patched together. There's not a lot of visual interaction between the bathroom, the new bathroom facility, which is pretty bare bones, and the existing band shell. One of the other things that isn't shown very clearly here, the existing band shell would need some level of ADA access and a ramp. It's also been brought to our attention that it would probably require a railing around the front. So
That was,
any band that was playing on the band shell and any audience, you're going to be looking through that railing to be able to see the band playing. We also lose a little bit of our available footprint. When we remove the existing concession stand and bathroom, it's significantly larger than this new bathroom. Once that's gone from the floodplain, you can't get it back.
Mhm.
Not the end of the world, it's just a disappointment.
So the way you have the band shell oriented, it looks like it's kind of pointing, is this the same direction it's
Same-
currently?
same
Okay.
orientation.
It
the
looks
same-
slightly.
it's
more
the
towards
same
front.
band shell.
It is the band
Okay,
shell as
okay.
we have it today.
That's-
Yep.
I just envisioned it a little bit less, it feels like it's more pointed to the parking lot, but I'm just making sure my orientation. So it's the same exact structure.
It is, yep.
Okay.
Yep, and that playground as shown is the same playground that was proposed for down below.
Okay. And is the playground that you propose in all of these the same exact one?
We changed it slightly for the other versions, and depending on the version that we go with or gets developed more, I think it would be worth going back to the
Yeah,
playground
Have to
design. that had
redesign it
one.
based
Yeah.
on a different layout.
Yep.
Fair enough.
We tried to pull the playground as close to the bridge as possible. The grade starts to slope up there in the corner. I'm assuming the playground wants to be on flat ground, so we tucked it in there as close as we could without modifying anything else.
It shows how close to the
Mhm.
main shell,
This right here.
the playground ends.
Absolutely. And if you do a fence around the playground, there really isn't much green space up at the top. You're either sitting in the playground or sitting down below.
So just for minutes purposes down the road, are we calling this design 1 of 4?
Yes.
He
calls
has
it
it
band
labeled
shell.
as existing band shell.
Okay.
And the others each have their own.
Able, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Perfect. Before we move on to, unless if you're done, before we move on to 2, does anybody have any questions about what you've seen so far?
The red circle is Chris Haggerty's showing of the one place that's above.
It's the floodplain.
That's the only reason that circle is there.
Okay.
This was his, there's a couple of images going on here. You can see Chris Haggerty's map in the bottom, and then I overlaid that over a Google Earth image, and that's why you can kind of just faintly see the existing playground up above that.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, when you zoom out, you can see the layout of where the.
Exactly.
All right,
Next
Gable version.
Gable version. It's a pretty simple, straightforward structure. Another thing we tried to do with all of these, if we went through with the site plan, we tried to keep all the structures at least 12 feet from the top of the bank, expecting in the future we may need to access down there to either repair the buildings, repair the playground, or do additional work on the bank itself. This is like I said, pretty simple form. I think it could be related somewhat to the existing structure in the band shell. We've used the same cross braces in the corners. Because of the simplicity and the relatively small size of it, I think it could be built with standard timber as opposed to having to go with a larger LVL or a engineered lumber. Something that could be sourced locally, which would be keeping in the theme of what's going on with the existing band shell.
And it's the restroom.
Exactly. In most of these, we oriented the restroom toward the riverside, the backside.
Want to go to 2? Do
There's,
you want us to go to 2 or?
Sure.
Yeah.
it has a flat wall in the back, so that could be used for projecting on. It's one of the larger areas for the band shell. There's space for 9 picnic tables or a band or both. Slope up gently around there, so the concrete slab that I'm showing it sitting on would be level with the grade around it. Easy to access.
And is this the drawing that has a waiting area between the 2 bathrooms in the back, or is this again utility storage?
That's later.
That's later,
on
okay.
The other versions. If
Okay.
we go to the next image. This is the view from about where the existing playground is. The new pavilion is projecting more toward the park.
But
Mhm.
it's stationed about where that band shell was, with the bathrooms being closer to the river.
It's pushed back closer to the river than the existing band shell to try and get as
That
much green
space
space
that's
in the
up
front.
right next to the band shell now. Okay.
Exactly. It's located at the same end of the plateau though.
Okay.
Push back to that 12 foot.
And remember, those aren't stairs, those are just the different
Mhm.
slopes as you walk up the grass to the band shell.
Yep. The next image will show the footprint of it itself. And this one does have a small living area outside of each bathroom that would be covered. Facing north and south. The next image is the site plan itself. You can see the footprint of the existing down shell. This is pulled back from that a little bit to try and maximize the green space in the front. We've adjusted that playground a little bit, gone from more of a circle form to an oval form, trying to stretch it out and maximize that green space as well. There's varying opinions on where the fences could be. We've got them starting from the kind of the top right-hand corner, wrapping around the playground and then connecting back toward the pavilion itself. Thinking that then the playground could sort of bleed into the plateau itself. Hopefully not needing a fence on that side.
Yeah.
Right there, not needing a fence.
Yeah, one would think that that would accomplish the goal of the fence, which is mostly the road and the river, right?
The river and the road.
Yep.
Mhm.
So then you could still have that kind of space between the two, you know, and not have it so divided.
Right.
But this looks like it leaves quite a bit of green space in front of that pavilion and in this kind of area right here.
Yep.
Before
Exactly.
it
That was
starts
the
to slope
intent.
down. That looks
Exactly.
nice.
People can have picnic tables, you know, if the band's playing, drag the picnic tables out there.
Mm.
If it's being used as a facility, the picnic tables go in and there's still plenty of space for other people. It's certainly less space than what the existing farmer market has. We made the assumption that that's goes down to the playground area. This
Yeah.
brings the bathrooms a little bit closer to that than where they were proposed in the first version.
Be easy for people to walk up the hill. They're not having to walk through the playground or,
Right.
and if you're in the playground, kids, it's easy for them to get to the restrooms as well.
Right. And by leaving it without the fence in between the playground and the pavilion, if it's drizzling and the kids are in the playground, the parents can be hanging out in the pavilion.
Mhm.
Hanging out in the shade while the kids are playing in the sun.
Yeah, it's definitely
It's
close enough.
it's
for-
open enough
Yep.
so that I could sit here and watch.
Mhm.
Mhm. Anybody have any questions on number 2, the gable version? So just I just want to make sure I'm clarification. The
Yep.
circle is where the existing would have been.
Yes,
Okay,
well, it now,
is now.
yep.
Okay. Moving on to the shed version, number 3.
Gable or shed?
Shed, please. Lot more contemporary design. Longer spans, structural spans. So in this case, we'd probably need glulam timbers with steel plate connections. Not a bad thing, just a different look. Again, really simple form. We've oriented the roof so it's south facing, so that whole thing could be studded with solar panels if that was desired. The open sides make it feel quite inviting. And it still has a flat wall on the backside for projection. The sides, because of the orientation of the roof, the sides are much more open, so that might make it a little bit more open to the weather. Sides are taller.
But you can see, the concrete holding the pillars, so if there is water up there, it's not touching wood.
Yep, and along the back wall within detail where it could be concrete or CMU block, something to try and get it up above water line.
And the water would be able to flow through.
Mhm.
Much better than in the existing forms, yes.
And remind me again, how far off the ground? So we wouldn't need handicap accessibility because it's only how many inches?
You said it was gonna be
Just to be-
Flush, okay,
Exactly.
All of these are flush,
The
right?
grass would come right up to the top of the
Right.
concrete.
All of
Okay,
these are
come.
flush except for the band shell one, right?
Correct. Yep.
So yeah, that resolves that whole aspect of it, so
Handicap.
long as there's no lip on the bathroom.
steps,
And you're good.
ramp, a
Yeah.
rail,
No one tripping,
yeah.
stepping off and having that little heart attack as you drop 18 inches to the ground.
So the beams that are holding the roof up, are those ones?
Those and the rafters as well would I'm assuming, I'm not a structural engineer, but those would probably be glue lam timbers similar to the example that you sent us. They're still wood. It's just it's laminations of wood built up to it.
And there's,
They need steel plate connectors because this has a lot of propensity to move.
With that.
the strength of them is equal to or better than a one single piece of wood.
Significantly higher.
Hmm.
Yep. They can take the best parts of the wood, get rid of any knots. And laminate them. With that, this version, we can also do those crossing braces if there are in the other one. Something that's reflective of the existing band shell. This one again has some small waiting areas outside the bathrooms.
So is this space is not within it, so it juts out here, right?
Yep. What we were trying to do here, you can kind of see it's a different direction of the rectangle. This one's wider, the other one was deeper. We're trying to maximize that footprint that we can create. You know, here we've taken the footprint from the existing concession stand, bathroom, and band shell and combined them in order to try and get the biggest building we can here. To be honest, I was pleasantly surprised with how much footprint was available. I think this is a pretty nice size structure.
It is.
Any questions on number 3 or comments?
Well,
Zoom in.
I would just comment that because it's bigger, but its profile is low, so when I'm driving by the road, I'm not looking at a concrete
Mm-hmm.
raised structure.
Right. Yeah, it's a little bit further from the road than that initial bathroom that I'd shown, so I think it's not as impactful on the view.
The whole square foot where activity can take place is flush.
Yep, and transparent.
Any questions before we move on to triple gable version? Comments? I know it's a lot to take in. Right, I guess we're ready. And this is number 4, we're calling it triple gable version.
This still has some solar. You can see we've added some complexity here. We've carried on that same gable theme though, a traditional form. It has a lot of south-facing roof, not as much as the shed, but much more than the other version, the gable version. So there's still the ability to put solar panels on the south sides.
When you say south side, you're saying from the peak back towards the river.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yep. This one has gables facing both the street and the park, so it's a little more aesthetically pleasing than the original gable form. A little bit better of a facade from the street. In this one, and probably the next image is the best one to show that. We've created a curved form behind the band.
See it here. Over this one.
Sure.
So you have the curve of the bench.
Which is reflective of the existing band shell. The different gable forms might make it feel more inviting. Because the building is wider than deep. There's a little bit more lawn space in front of it. It's almost certainly the most expensive form because it's the most complicated. It also would probably require glue lam timbers and steel fasteners. And it's the smallest square footage of the public area, if you will, the place where the band plays. If we go back to the floor plan, Kendra, that shows what Denise had mentioned earlier, where there's a little bit of a nook inside.
Is that what you're talking about?
Exactly. So you've got a 3-sided shelter when you're waiting for the bathroom.
You know, with only one, I mean, people can go in since you'll have a stall, but with kids,
Would it have a stall or would it be just wide open?
It's just one wide open.
For wheelchair, yeah.
Oh, right, yep.
But I like the fact that they could wait in line. And then
Undercover.
undercover,
Right, right. And this is certainly more sheltered than the other versions when it comes to that.
right?
Yes,
And necessarily, we don't need to make them, men and women. We could
no,
make them
yes,
both,
yeah.
but have one possibly with a changing, one of the pull down changing stations for
Yeah.
babies.
yeah, without a stall door, that does allow you to
Have,
do that.
and a lot of, yeah. And the room too, because a lot of young parents, sorry, but you all have to go to the bathroom with us,
Yeah.
Seriously, you do. When I take my grandkids, it's like, nope, sorry, we're all going in.
Yep.
Not leaving one kid out on the
Yeah.
playground.
Those are the 4 versions. Like I said, I'd love to have more direction before we take it further. These are really, really rough, admittedly.
Mhm.
But they're really great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They
A
are.
starting point, hopefully.
That's
Yeah.
great.
So I know this was just late on you, but they're very excited. They want to really get down to design and they need some direction. And I was thinking about how we're going to do this evening, and maybe if we each pick our top 2 choices, majority rule, and then go ahead. If you know which one you maybe, and we don't know money, we can't even get to the money part until we get to the design part.
question. So the next step, if we pick 2 versions and that's what we move ahead with, is it then designing the structures and like cost it? Like what kind of is the next steps that we're doing here?
I mean, I'll have you answer too, but I'm thinking if we pick a 1 and a 2, he can then meet with the playground guru and they can redesign the playground to fit the space and the structure that we chose so that he could have much better drawings before I may be talking before he sends them out to get estimates.
And if we
But-
have any comments like, oh, we don't like the waiting area.
Yeah, he can make tweaks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Understood.
Is that true what I just said?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they're kind of in a standstill until we make a decision.
Well, that's what I'm trying to understand is like what the next decision we have to make is if we're like trying to compare costs of structures, because we'll get to it next, but we've gotten the price of existing band shell. So it's then like is the next step determining which structure we like the best and then pricing it, or pricing it and then
I think,
how does one?
I think it would be too cost prohibitive
No, I don't think we
to
should
price all 4 of
I
them.
don't.
I think we would first, is there anything else, anything we feel
Got missed or something?
that we would want changed in, say, 2 of these? And
Okay.
then John and Ben would make those changes, or if they have some other thoughts about tweaking things like exactly where the playground is, that's what they do. And then we would
Yep.
come back and look at those 2 and then say,
With a
Yeah.
new playground design, depending on which one our committee chooses or which 2 our committee chooses.
and then we would say, okay,
Mhm.
these are the 2 or 1. We may have to come down to 1.
Right.
And then say to John and Ben, how do we go about pricing this, and whether it's them or we have to then hire somebody else.
Right, that's
I think
sort of the next question
An
is like,
an
do
engineering
you
firm or whatever.
price these structures or?
Don't typically
Okay.
do it in-house. Honestly, I think as far as comparing apples to apples, if
Right.
Bob Neal was willing to do it,
Have
That
him
would
do
probably be the
whichever one
best.
you pick.
Mm-hmm.
most fair option.
Yeah,
Mhm.
We've got a number from him, you've got a number from him to do the
right.
rejuvenate the existing band shell.
Mhm.
Um, Bob, how much is it gonna cost it to replace with something that looks like this?
So the main thing we're trying to narrow down is which type of structure so we eliminate a couple of the plans.
Right.
And B, then you can go to the playground people and they can redesign the playground for the top because they didn't redesign, they were just still using the one from down below.
Correct. Correct.
Congenial bin.
Right,
Right. Right.
think she's had them,
I think they
they've been
started.
up at the plateau and they have.
I thought I saw something different
They have
that they had.
modified it a little, but they haven't modified it to the place.
Right, and nor have they talked with John yet.
Right.
Is that a true statement?
We've touched base with them.
Oh, you have? Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, trying to get the models and things like that.
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
different Playground equipment. What we're showing is super schematic.
Yeah, yep.
Programs didn't talk very well, but it's enough to get the
Yeah.
idea across of
Rough,
what's.
yeah.
So we still have a little money in our. What we've allocated for you to do. This work.
Right.
Absolutely.
So
Let's choose to.
let's choose two. I agree. Let's choose two or
How about 1 and
eliminate
4?
two. Okay,
Four.
okay, you want 1 and 4.
Yep.
One being the existing
The
being.
gable and the triple gable.
Oh. okay.
No, that's not one.
2 and
Then-
4.
Oh, wait,
2 and 4 then.
2 and 1.
I was like, 1, that's existing.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't want the existing.
Okay, which one do you want?
No wonder you said,
Yeah.
I was like,
Tell me your favorites.
Influence your decision about
Gable
what-
version and triple gable.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me, here we go. So you want, one of them is number 4.
Yep.
Triple gable.
And what's the second?
Gable version.
Okay,
Same thing,
Fran,
same thing.
yes.
yes.
I have to say triple gable first.
Okay, what was your second?
The same.
Gable.
as them.
Okay. Kendra,
Going with the same.
I'm going with the same.
Okay, that's easy.
I think the gables are just more.
They're so
I
beautiful.
felt
Yeah.
like this, the one that's the shed, I didn't aesthetically,
Was it too modern, you think?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
it didn't, it just was kind of,
it looked like a drive up
yeah.
A&W.
That's nice.
Yeah, I
All
was
right,
thinking,
Those that can
You
remember
got
that.
your
I
answer.
was thinking of Sonic.
Yeah.
Not, try not to insult.
Oh, I don't care. You're not gonna insult us. Not at all. No, it was
It's just
not
very
a
modern.
very contemporary.
Yes.
side. What I didn't want to do was compete with the round church with any
Mhm.
of these designs. I wanted to have that.
You know what?
thing.
Can you say that comment too? That the day we met with you, the preliminary meeting, I loved what you had said about that you felt that we shouldn't try to be competing with the round church, but have its own structure so we don't take away from the round church.
Absolutely.
And that really hit me when you said that day. I was like, wow, that's true.
It's such a,
That's-
as I look around,
It's so
like,
iconic in our
It
town.
is. It is. And I think it wants to stay that way. I don't want to duplicate it.
You're right.
Yeah, I just feel like it's that I could see this structure very much in a different place other than here. It's
Yeah.
not that it's a bad structure in any
No.
way. It just,
Okay, you got your answer, but I have a favor.
Yeah.
So would you mind? We just got the report this afternoon. I think I sent it to you at 5:30 when I saw it. That's when I saw it. I've been bugging him all week. And he said, I think I can get it done by Thursday. And I'm like, well, good, we have a meeting. Do you want to come? He goes, I can't come, but I think I can get the report done. So he was so good about it. And it was shocking how bad it is to me.
The replacement cost, you mean?
No,
That
how
was
bad
shocking
it
to
was.
me.
Okay.
No,
I
the
skimmed it.
pictures, I mean, I knew you climbed up there and took some of those pictures. I don't know. Okay, so
so is that the, are we moving,
yes.
you didn't make
Okay.
a request of him? I think
Okay.
the request of him is, can you
Don't-
stay in?
Can you stay? Can you stay?
I think
So
that that's what you're.
on the record, Kendra, I think we should vote on this.
What are we voting on?
That the majority ruled to continue
Okay.
with number 2 and 4.
So.
Here you go.
all those- So we just individually cast individual votes, but can we now as a whole agree that the 2 we're going to proceed with are version 2 gable and version 4 triple gable? And that's what we're gonna give,
Hillview Design
Hillview Design
Collaborative.
Collaborative, okay, to continue to work on with the playground and such like that.
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
Second. All those in favor of Fran's motion signify by saying aye.
Hi.
All those opposed? We are going forward with 2 and 4. Perfect. So moving on, as I said, I apologize. Bob Neal got the report to me today.
So we have to make sure we get this to Duncan so he can post it?
He already has it.
Okay, he hasn't posted it yet, but as long as.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I sent it today when I opened it at 5:30, just so that all of you know, I sent it to our entire committee. I sent it to Josh.
The report.
Yep, I sent it to Josh. I sent it to Duncan. I sent it to John. I sent it to Ben. So because how this all came about, Jeannie, Fran, myself, Duncan, John, and Bob Neal went over there one morning, and Bob's not not to be rude, but he's not a small man. He's laying on the ground with his camera underneath, and then he didn't want to climb. He asked John to climb. I mean, seriously, he asked John to climb on the trash can and say, "Go take some pictures of those beams for me, John." And John jumps up there and does it. And then when we got the report today, I was shocked at how bad it was. And after I read his report,
Didn't print out the pictures, but.
oh my God, the pictures were crazy. I had no idea it was that bad. It's scary. One of those pictures that he showed us, like look at this one.
If
Like
there,
nothing's connected and then it's cracked.
Which one? Pull it up.
So-
it's somewhat proof that the river doesn't flow through there.
Oh,
Even when it floods, it doesn't flow through because I feel like that.
and then unbeknownst to
Down.
Fran, I don't know if you knew this, but unbeknownst to me, and Bob came back out here
No,
with
I didn't know that.
with
Okay.
people that he works with. He came back out here again, and the day he came back, there was so much water on the floor. It was frozen. It was like a little pond, ice pond. So, yeah, the pictures, like this one in particular,
Make sure it's,
this one right here, this is crazy.
oh, yeah.
But I was so impressed, like that one, that's scary. Where is that? Is that the one he was laying underneath?
As you approach it, that's the front right-hand corner.
Okay, so that's the one he was, I'm looking at him thinking, he's rolling down all around on the ground and it was so damn cold that
Yeah.
day. Oh my God, that is crazy.
Well, and, he throws out some costs, but none of those costs talk about making it accessible either. So
Mhm.
that's
Oh, so we didn't even put the handrail or the
No.
steps or anything in?
nothing to make it accessible.
That's just to repair it. So what did we think the grand total was?
A log. I think, well, 200 and something.
He does have access.
Oh, he
there.
does have a new concrete ramp, that's right.
With handrail.
But,
It's not the guardrail around the front.
and I'm not sure we
It's
can
not
do a
called that,
concrete
essentially.
ramp. I think what we were told
Oh, that's right.
that in order to make it accessible, in order with current regs, that we might have to do that ramp within the band shell.
Yes.
I think if we go with one of these approaches where we remove the concession stand, we can use the footprint to do that concrete ramp. If the concession stand stays, then absolutely
Okay,
you're stuck demoing the concrete to try and put a ramp within that footprint.
So I
And
have,
you need a guardrail.
right,
It's not called out
So
here.
these total high and low,
Or
about one
It's
sixty.
been, you don't need it.
160 to
It's less than a
210.
30-inch drop. You don't need a guardrail on the
Mhm.
front.
Me too.
just
Clearly, it seems like it's be a really good idea as people have been injured there.
And this is without the railing on the front. Okay, so the other question I have, because I just wanted the committees to tell me what they think. The people I sent it to is because John and his partner, or John representing his company, was there. You know, we kind of answered to Josh, and Duncan was there. But I think the select board needs to see this report. To me, this is alarming.
yep, because we need their.
They also were
support.
the ones that contracted this, so.
Exactly.
they should
And that's why I sent it to John.
receive it.
Gary has not seen it, and I have not sent it.
But
And
I
I
mean,
was,
I don't know that, like, we need to go and present it to them.
oh, no, no, no.
We
I
need to
think
be clear,
I
like,
would just say, I just want to let you know, we're moving forward with
Because
Volunteers
they-
Green. We
wanted to
received this report today. Wanted to make sure you saw it immediately.
Mhm.
Is everyone okay with that?
You could also say we'd be happy to meet with you if.
Right. Okay. Yeah, if you need our committee to come before you, just let us know.
Yeah.
All right, so tomorrow morning, or maybe even tonight when I get home, I'm gonna send this to the select
Or if
board.
they would like us to bring. him.
Yeah.
He'll speak to them about any.
And Bob was really good, and he's such a sweet man. He said, I loved his last thing, good luck and let me know. But he also said that he's not available tonight, but he would
Yeah.
meet with us if we had any questions or whatever. But I was talking to Josh, and I was telling him about this, and he goes, God, you guys really get good people to do your projects. And so that made me feel really good. And I think I told you that somebody had recommended him. And then when I started to research before we met with him and went on a website and saw that he's the principal,
Could be.
you and
And the person who we were originally. supposed
the
to
original one,
contract
Oh,
he used to work for them.
that's right.
said this box
This-
would be better
Yeah,
served to do the flood
John
resilience.
Tribal.
Yes.
Yep.
That's the name, correct.
well,
So-
and the other thing is, like he said, that these are only costs are only preliminary.
Mm,
Costs never go down.
Right.
Right,
And to get to, there's the cost also to get the final costs.
Right.
right. So, but I mean, I think it would give them something to look at, something to think about. And, I don't know. I mean,
Well, and what we don't.
you think they should close it? I mean, I don't know.
I don't feel like he called out any, and I think he would have if
Yeah.
there was an imminent safety concern.
Mm.
Yeah,
Okay.
that would,
Um, honestly, I think the most dangerous thing there is how dished out it is, and as you mentioned, the skating rink that forms.
Yeah,
mhm.
and I think the select board needs to see it, and we need to be open. Not hiding.
oh, totally.
this.
So should I
So-
CC Gary on it?
I think so, in all fairness.
I think it's,
Okay,
He's
I don't-
gonna get it when we're.
well, and I think the key too is ensuring that Duncan puts this up on our support stuff.
and you know who else I'd like to see it too is Mercy Harding. Cause she's the only one that's come to speak about it.
What about Bob Markey?
Huh, that's a great one too. Yep, I agree. You know what? And honesty and upfrontness is
We have to be, we've
Carrie.
been accused of.
Yes.
not being open, So,
I'm probably out of line here, but are you creating problems by calling out individuals instead of
No.
posting it
okay,
in
That's
addition to
true.
posting? it
true, you are.
That's
I
true
don't-
too.
Yep.
Not
You
my
are.
place.
I
but-
appreciate.
You know
I
what? You
appreciate
know
the
what?
point, 'cause
We,
we're just trying
I
to
mean, you can
be
tell
as
Gary to look at
transparent
the
as possible.
website.
exactly, and he'll
But-
see it. It's gonna be posted on the website under our minutes. And the other thing as well, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
So if it's attached to our minutes.
It's attached. It'll be a separate,
But still send the select board.
oh,
Yes,
totally,
yes.
totally.
It's their,
Yeah.
They-
I mean, they're the ones that hired him. They're the ones that are paying for it.
It's good to have somebody like you here who's separate from us.
Mhm.
Yes, you're right.
No.
Perfect. Any
Like
other
I said,
questions?
and if you hear suggestions about a way that we should be more transparent with the report, such as putting it somewhere, we would be open to that. We're just, like you said, not trying to call out specific, because what if we forget somebody?
Right.
And then they
Yeah.
get upset.
That's true. It's like, well, why
It's a
was
very
that-
good point.
That's awesome. All right, so before moving on,
So no
any,
action on
no
this.
action, I'm just gonna send it
We're
to the
just
select
filling it.
board and just saying, we ended up going with Engineering Ventures instead of John Traybell based on his recommendation that this gentleman, Bob Neild, was the guru
Actually cheaper.
and cheaper
I would-
and
an
cheaper.
email Remind them of that. They've been told, this is not new news. They were,
Right.
they
Right,
were told this and such, but just.
right. I know,
we
wasn't
don't
that
assume
crazy?
Everybody remembers everything.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right. Any other thing that you think we should be taking a peek at, John, or looking
I
into?
don't think so.
Were you, any comments, anything jump out to you on Bob's report?
I just skimmed it and that's all I
Yeah.
had.
Okay, if you,
I looked at the numbers because
Yeah.
that's what everyone does. It's great.
I know,
If there are things that when you go through it, like we should,
yeah,
I mean,
just,
we don't do this.
yeah, this isn't our purview,
So
so,
we welcome any expertise anybody has,
Okay.
in reading it and what we should be paying attention to.
Sure.
And our agenda posted says that we were gonna look at designs from John.
Yep.
Right,
And we listed
Yeah.
them.
And we have the report, so.
yep,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm surprised we don't have more people.
I am too,
I
I'm
thought-
I
shocked.
figured there'd be a
I was
couple.
very clear in this agenda about.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, John, not to put any pressure on you now, but when might you have? I mean,
It'll probably depend on when the playground folks
I
get.
would say I'm gonna guess a couple
Yeah.
of weeks, but, and because the
All right.
playground person was really responsive to
Yeah.
emails, I don't know how
Yeah.
long it takes them to read.
I mean, if we put you on the agenda or for maybe next month? You know,
Sure,
We
Okay.
built our agendas just 3 days before.
yeah,
okay.
So
As
you
long as
can
I
be.
tell
so when you
let me
get
know.
something like you did this time,
Yeah.
Let us
give
know
us a
if you have
call.
Absolutely.
That's what he did last time.
Absolutely.
We're ready to go ahead. We need some direction.
It's
Like,
my
okay.
agenda. Just in advance of the 2-day notice we have to give.
Okay.
Because we have so many things that are moving around at any given time that.
Yeah.
Be too hard to try and set it today for a month from now.
Yeah,
And
so
that's
just
about
let us
24
know.
hours a month out.
Well, sometimes we have been meeting every 2 weeks.
We
Okay.
have before, and then we've sort of moved it to when we think we'll have the next set of information. And so this one was such a long gap because we wanted to give you and Bob the time to do all that you were trying to do, so we had something, constructive to be working on or looking at, for
Sure.
this meeting. And so we'll do the same if we find that, I would say we would schedule it, and if we find we don't have
A reason.
a reason to meet, we move it out until it's, we're not
Oh,
gonna meet just to
since we're
chat.
before you leave, any comments on the DRB decision?
I think it was good.
Oh, I think it was great.
Yeah, I
I was-
expected at least some more restrictions to it.
Me too. That's what
Yeah.
somebody else said. God, that was nothing.
Yeah,
Like no conditions.
Yeah.
right.
So I just wanted to make sure that you saw that and perfect. Thank you so much. I mean, you're welcome to stay,
Yeah.
but it's
You don't
totally
have
up
to.
to you.
You don't-
Box my head done.
Yeah, same, honey, same.
We appreciate you coming, and
Yeah,
these
no
are great.
problem.
They're so amazing.
It is
Yeah.
so much easier to envision things.
Isn't
when
that
you can-
crazy? It was unanimous 2 and
Physically see it.
4. Yay!
I mean, this is our chance.
This is
I'm
our
not
chance.
Sure how it's all gonna be paid for, but this is our chance.
We'll
to
figure it out.
Do something nice for the town with volunteer screen.
Which is, why I say 2, in my opinion, 2 gives you the option of a more cost-effective version.
Yeah.
And 4 is this would be the most awesome.
Exactly.
So I think that that's kind of where I personally sit in these 2 options, is like, I'd be happy with 2, but it'd be wicked cool if we could do 4.
Mhm. And, okay, so this is, anybody on?
No,
This is the
Me.
bad person speaking.
but it's recorded.
I know. So hypothetically, we could put the new playground exactly where we want it for drawings 2 or 4, which may be 1 foot from the existing band shell.
Right.
Just a thought.
Right, yeah, there's no reason that you couldn't do it in multiple phases.
Right.
I think that may be, but I would tear the band shell down before having a clean slate with the playground up and then work to get the funds
Yes.
to do the next step.
And it may be, and hypothetically, I mean, it may be that we go and it's a bond vote. Just like a new roof on a school or whatever. It could be a small bond vote
To do the playground.
to do, no,
No,
to
I think
do.
We got the money for the.
We got the
playground.
money for the playground.
Okay.
To do the band shell. Or I'm sorry,
Structure.
the structure, what are we calling it? The multi-use structure pavilion?
Well,
Okay,
I don't know that I would recommend taking down the existing band shell, even if that was,
that was, or the bathrooms.
I
right,
don't think we'd ever get a new one up if we didn't take the band shell down.
Okay,
I
good.
think you'd have to do them in tandem. I don't think you'd want to remove them, let them sit for a few years without it there, and then try and put up the new pavilion.
You think they wouldn't
They
Because
wouldn't
I think
approve
you-
it.
tweak
You
things saying
have
it was
that.
gone?
You're trying to use that impervious
Mhm.
surface,
That
that
makes sense.
footprint of the building to be able to create the new footprint for the pavilion.
You run into the issue of potentially them saying, well, it's been gone for 2 years, you no longer have that footprint.
Right,
Right,
which is
yeah,
a real bummer.
Shady,
I,
but
it'd be great to be able to do it, I agree. and stage it like that.
And my fear is that that would stall the second step.
Sure.
Unless we all got out there with petitions and educated the heck out of Richmond residents.
But anyway, that's a decision
yeah.
to be
Yeah.
made down the road.
Yep.
It comes down to cost too. I mean, there's quite a difference between them
Mhm.
cost wise,
cost-wise,
lumber
there's no
wise.
basic-
Right.
But this is the only park we have in Richmond.
Mhm.
And we've got to remember that unless someone's gonna, I just can't see us moving all of our services to another area to make a huge park. I can never see that happening. And there's no land around here to do something like that doesn't
Especially
flood.
not in the village.
Exactly.
No, there's no,
And flooding, we know, is gonna get worse and worse every year.
On the outside of the village.
Yeah.
Trying to find that much flat land is.
It's true.
Exactly.
But-
That
Richmond's
that
definitely
removed,
geographically
that
challenged.
far removed.
Yeah.
So,
It's a special piece of property and
all right, any other comments on Volunteers Green, Bob Neal, anything for John before we move on?
We all know kind of the next steps, what has to happen.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. And thank you for being in touch with the playground people. We appreciate that. And if you need help, I think I've told you this, but Jeannie's the lead, like on the playground. Is that okay with everyone?
Yep.
Yeah, she's,
I'd like to do some research on what it would
Mhm.
cost to demolish
Yeah, 'cause that has
the
a price
restaurant
tag.
facility and the band shell.
okay. Does everybody have a
that
problem
would
with that?
certainly have to be part of
Oh, yeah.
the numbers for
Yeah.
either one of these two and four.
I was gonna maybe start with Pete Goslin and have him head me somewhere.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea if you're.
perfect.
to
If
do
you're
that,
willing to do that, it'd be
appreciate
great. Thanks, Fran. Everybody okay with Fran taking the lead on the demolition?
Yeah, well, Spencer's just tore down Gary's historic barn,
Oh,
so
they did.
Mhm.
yes, they did.
Mhm.
That he got a grant to put a roof on.
Yep, he did. I just asked him about it.
Okay,
All right.
so that's volunteer screen.
So now we're gonna do a brief discussion of the DRB decision.
Just a quick question.
Sure.
Do you mind if I take these home and?
No, they're yours.
Oh, they're yours. They're yours.
Yeah, please.
And I'll send you something like what I'm planning to write about your portion.
Okay.
I wouldn't write a lot.
No.
No.
If they're interested, they can watch the video.
Yeah,
Because there's too much to try and
You
put in.
don't
then-
try and outline always says that.
just like
this
the
is gonna be
committee
there.
chose,
You
the
could talk
tri-
about the
triple
briefly
gable.
summary of the 4 different versions. One was with the existing band shell with an added restroom structure. The next one was, and just kind of like very, very brief.
Big.
Just a couple of sentences.
And you could just direct them to John's report, because that will be,
That would
this
be
will
perfect.
have to be attached to the minutes. So we have it and I'll
That'll
send
also
it,
be posted, yeah.
I'll make sure I send it to all of you. I apologize. We'll send it to all of you, so everyone will have a copy, but it will have to be, because we've talked about it so much and we chose, it'll have to be attached to our minutes for tonight.
Yeah, I would attach.
But
it to
just
the
an
minutes,
attachment.
And then I think Duncan should attach them as separate.
Yeah,
files,
on the website. Yeah.
Same as those, just so that they're easier and call
We're
them
trying
like
to
what we just called.
Cross
them.
all our Ts and dot all our Is.
Would it be better rather than to have it as an attachment to the minutes? Would it be better just to have it into the related files?
Related files.
But because I have a hard time with attachment.
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't, you could just essentially tell Duncan,
Tell Duncan
To
and
attach it.
he'll do it.
he's gonna have the files because we want him to post them separately.
Here, no, he doesn't have them yet.
He's going to have the
But
files.
just
Yep.
like when you go to the agenda for the DRB or whatever, they have
It's-
all the different listed as separate files.
Mhm.
all
Right here.
different-
John, would you mind doing that since the town technically hired you guys?
Send the files to
Duncan
Duncan.
and Josh.
And Josh first and then CC Duncan.
Okay.
Thank you. Just
Yeah,
be,
of course.
I appreciate that. Since they hired you, not us.
Should I CC the
Oh,
rest of
select
the
board. Yep, select board.
The select board as well. Okay.
Yeah, everybody good with that? Yep, select board. I don't want them to say, we didn't know. Well, now you do. You got it on blah, blah, blah.
and your whole board as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Perfect, done.
So these are public,
Yep,
so you're welcome to show them to other people.
other people,
Yeah,
that's
we
right.
just showed them all on the
Please
video,
check.
so they have to be. I went
Yes,
through every page.
Okay.
They were all shown on the video, so they are.
all public now. Perfect.
Oh, boy.
Thank you so much. Thanks for your work. Oh my God, it's
course.
incredible,
course.
incredible.
It's
a pleasure.
exciting. what it is.
Very.
It'd be so cool to see something happen over there.
Oh, it would be.
Yeah, it will be so cool to see.
It will be so cool. That's right. Never underestimate this group.
Positive.
All right, so now we're gonna do a brief discussion of the Development Review Board. I thought the meeting went great. I thought they asked great questions. But it wasn't, as John said earlier, I thought we were gonna have a lot more contingencies. And when I got it, I was like, huh? And the only question, Fran, I have is the number of trees. So
Well,
they're counting
they
total
added-
around,
They added up the trees that were in the initial statement that, when Duncan submitted the grant, he listed trees at different spots.
right?
And so they added them all up. But in their decision, they put 99 trees at the pickleball court.
Right.
And we hadn't planned 99 trees, so.
Right.
So this is just a clarification.
I was just trying to clarify
Right, right,
on the decision that we didn't ask for 99 trees at.
And we can't get now, I don't think we could even get 99 trees.
No, we wouldn't want them anyway.
No,
So I was just trying to clarify from Tyler. Does that mean we have to plant 99 trees? Because that, to me, that's a mistake.
it is a mistake
On their part,
on their part or Duncan's part.
because they wrote the decision. Duncan doesn't write the decision.
But did Duncan say we were gonna plant 99?
No,
Not around
he
the way-
listed trees by spot.
Oh, okay,
They added them all up
okay,
and said 99,
Okay.
but they listed them at the pickleball court. That's
okay,
not what we
that's it.
had said. So I just want to make sure, I think they ought to revise their decision to not say
Yeah.
pickleball court.
Okay, so would you,
I asked Tyler, I'll
Okay.
go in and see Tyler.
and then call David. And if you get the section 5.3.2.1, call David.
What Duncan has said is that he can make, not Duncan, Tyler, there are certain things that when things are actually going to be built, that he can make little changes to.
Okay,
But landscaping is
A big deal.
a big deal.
Mhm.
And so if you say you're gonna plant 99 trees, over time, we have to plant 99 trees,
Right.
even though.
And that was a specific, one of their only specific conditions is the number and type of tree shall be noted in the cover letter.
Yeah, and that's.
So that's why she's right. We have to clarify that it's not 99 around the pickleball court. It's 99.
it's 99 at Brown's Court.
At some point, there needs to be 99 arborvitae there.
Okay,
And that is the one thing that he said, that landscaping plans.
Yep.
Cannot change without DRB
Which-
permission.
Our plan, the way we display it is not 99 there. It's like Duncan outlined in his
Yeah,
follow-up email.
5-year,
and some in
10-year.
front of the Carol's and, you know, the
Some by
Olivers,
bathroom
yeah.
or the porta
Yeah, the
potty.
porta potties, yeah.
So,
All right, so I feel like I'm dishing everything on you. Are you okay with taking care of that
Wrapping that,
clarification?
yeah.
Yeah, I saw,
She already had
I saw.
started, so.
I know, I saw it. Perfect. Anybody else have any questions about the DRB or any thoughts, comments?
Yeah, well, I noticed that, for this final draft here, if we go into statement number 49,
Okay,
it says that Richmond done with the driveway width was 16 feet,
yeah,
okay? If you look at their conclusion, it says the board waives the 20-foot commercial driveway per section. The commercial driveway only has to be 18 feet, okay? But then I looked it up, in the, town, ordinance, and it says that it had to be 20.
They waived it.
They waived.
They
They
waived it
it.
because of the boundary issue with Oliver's.
So they waived the 20 feet. They're saying we have to have
It
18.
could just, yeah.
They have the ability
To-
to waive those.
Everything.
Okay. They're saying it only has to be 18
Correct.
feet, but we told them that we have 16 feet.
It's currently 16, so they just have, when we do the new parking lot,
parking
and
lot.
it just has to be made 18
18
feet.
feet.
There's space for it.
If we went further, as you come in further on the right towards Murray's, there's 2 feet there, no problem.
So it's just ensuring that when the parking lot gets priced, it's priced for an 18-foot driveway.
So you don't worry about the 20 feet. They
No,
waived
that's
it.
done. That was waived. It's ensuring that the pricing is for 18-foot driveway. No problem.
Okay, now, the other thing I noticed, I was going crazy on. Reading it. It's crazy. But the stuff about the final decision, I picked up on the tree business too, but, when they talked about the perpetuity,
Yeah,
I was looking back at some of the old notes, and one of the things I saw, if I can read my own writing here, it says that the town, I looked at, I think it was the minutes from October 30th. Okay.
our
and-
meeting minutes,
Yeah,
okay,
and somewhere, and I don't know who said it, but I think it was a question, do we know the boundary lines for everybody, for all the property owners? And it looked from one of the maps that we don't know the boundary right along where the Carol's place is. There's like a little triangle.
Yep.
thing.
yep,
Has that been settled?
No.
No.
no,
Okay, well, somewhere in there, somebody found that you're supposed to have definite boundary lines.
Yeah, that's.
it's been like that since 1909.
Yeah,
9?
I've been working on the town and with Josh to try and get them. He's talked to the lawyer about resolving.
Oh, good.
Well, he had, but then
Right,
the last time I talked to him, it's like we're gonna have, before he really has a lot of time, it's probably gonna be after town meeting.
yeah. So there's 2 boundary issues that we would like to get resolved. One is that underwear factory line, that little pizza pie that you're talking about. The other one is that V that jets out that is currently owned by, help me with her name,
Linda McCarthy.
Linda McCarthy. So we were hoping to, since we have 2 fantastic
Surveys.
surveys done, thank you. We have 2 fantastic surveys that were done, and the McCarthy survey agrees with the town of Richmond survey. So Fran has been gently working that, both of those,
I can only push the
I know,
Josh
right,
so far.
but she can't, like she said, she can't even speak to him until after the election.
I keep reminding him.
And there's no town meeting, but after the election. So, yeah, and let's hope. But
I mean, we're lucky we
Huh?
have,
no, town meeting's gone.
we're lucky we have adjacent property owners that are not upset that we
Right.
are using their property.
Right, I'm so glad that Jim Oliver has been here, and just so that you know, and Fran knows this, but I just make sure the board, Jim has been talking with. And we've encouraged him, keep talking with Josh, keep talking, because he's willing to sign away. And,
Whatever he needs.
but he,
Linda
and I don't blame him,
McCarthy
he
is
wants, yeah, and Linda's too. We just need
There's no
to,
heavily disputed
yeah,
issues here.
yeah.
still, but it just needs.
They need to
it's-
clean up the paperwork.
So it's not about the DRB decision. I spoke to Kendra about this, but I just want to let you guys know, make sure that you understand. When I was speaking to Josh, about, I don't know, maybe the decision, I'm not even sure. I said, I had a conversation with Pete Goslin. He said, Denise, he goes, you ready to go on that parking lot? I said, yeah, can you do it now? He goes, Denise, no, He goes, we're 2 years behind on our projects. And I said, I know. I said, okay, we'll put it out to bid. He goes, Denise, get it out to bid tomorrow. He goes, if you can get it out there before March, you're gonna save so much money. So I went right to work, called Josh. And I said, Josh, I just talked to Pete. He said if we could get it out before March, the bid for the parking lot. He said that we'll save so much money because people aren't bidding. There's no bid projects hardly out there at all. So I said, let's get it out to bid. He goes, Denise, there's no money. It's all gone. All the money that they approved that we had in
Oh,
the,
it's been used up for,
it's been used up for the flooding.
And that it will be repaid when we get repaid the flooding, the FEMA money.
If we get replaced, because our
Not gonna-
administration wants to do away with FEMA, we may not get reimbursed.
It has to be because they only,
I don't think.
the
they can-
condition only was that they would borrow it on the condition of getting the money back from FEMA. So if they choose to get rid of that, then they have to figure out how they're gonna pay back the money.
Right, so Josh said maybe this summer they'd have the money back. I'm gonna keep on Josh, because that's not fair to us. He said, Denise, that happened at the meeting when we did away with town meeting. I said, I know, but the project was already approved. It was already, I said, it was already approved. The select board approved it. He goes, yeah, but it hadn't gone out to bid. It wasn't a
Yeah.
bid project.
So the money for the pickleball court is
But
still
it's-
there.
Yeah,
That's all secure. All that money is ours. It's sitting in a pot waiting for us to spend it.
What about the money for the pool?
Mm-mm.
Gone.
it's lent out.
It's lent out.
It's lent out.
It's used out. But we need to keep
They wrote Peter
pressure.
To pay Paul.
Exactly. That's exactly what they did. And so we need to keep pressure on them so that when that money starts pouring in from FEMA, if it doesn't indeed pour in from FEMA, that we need to be first on the list, that we get reimbursed first. And it doesn't go to some other person first. So we need to be that squeaky wheel.
Well, and that's what I asked you was potentially could they still go out for bid? Without the money fully being there and see, or at least pricing.
I don't think they can
Well, they
because,
could Go out for.
but
bid.
they're only good for 90 days.
Oh.
They would have to reprice it, but then you could at least
You'd have a better ballpark number.
know who came in the lowest. Have them adjust it after the 90 days, etc.
Right.
Yeah, but it could take
So-
what, a year?
So maybe,
Right.
you know what, maybe
But you
that's
know-
the
you'll
thing.
know who Responded, you'll know.
And I'll be
who's the
there
lowest bidder.
with Duncan, making sure that all 5 people that bid on that parking lot, we're gonna
Yeah.
mail copies to them this time. We're mailing copies to them this time of the bid. So I think that's a great idea. I think
Because what's the harm? It expires.
exactly,
You do it again. But in an ideal situation, the money would be back and you'd be able to get started.
right. So if we send it out to bid in March,
Yeah.
Say they
not-
bid it in-
Not today, not
no, say March 1, they bid it April 1. So then we've got
90
May,
days.
June and July. So the money should be back. And if we did that and put the pressure on it, then they knew that, oh, that
Then they
this
want
is
the money
Alec.
back because they've already got a
Exactly.
contract for dealing.
So we need to keep looking at that and I'll keep talking to Josh, say, Josh, what have you heard about FEMA? And they hired, I don't know if you know this, but they hired a special person. That's all that person does in the town is work with FEMA. But our pickleball money is all good and safe in there.
So
Okay,
Brown's Court.
that's it. Any questions, comments? All right, so any other comments on the DRB decision? Awesome. Perfect. Any,
I'll just, Brown's Court, I did from Gardner Supply, I think I sent out, got,
oh,
the quotes on the arborvitae.
oh, I didn't see them. I saw where you were trying to get Connie to give you your account number.
But.
Did you email it? I might not have.
No, but, it's probably sitting at home. They would be, that's who the REAPs use. for
Yeah.
Their trees, and they give the town a 20% discount, so their trees came in at like, oh yeah, it's right here. They're $139, but that they would be discounted to, the ones they recommended would be like $89.
Not bad.
Wow, good job, Fran.
That's
And
lower
there they are. I mean, they're local.
Mhm.
Oh.
They get them from somebody else, but it would save the
Cause
town.
they deliver.
That I don't remember.
It's close. so it's-
You know what? My husband would go get him. He's got it. He could borrow
You're not
somebody's
having to
trailer.
Go to Eden or.
Right.
You just-
Oh my God, that's awesome.
To pick them up.
Would they be the exact replica of what the Reeps got?
I think so. There are 4 to 5 feet high, 83.99 each.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Oh. Deliver to Richmond, $100.
Hey,
$100, yeah.
That's not
why not?
$100, why not?
And they're recommending, you can either get balled or burlap or in these plastic containers. And they're recommending, they're easy, actually saying it's cheaper if you do the
So that's
containers.
about, if you pay them, it's just shy of $9,000, 8,800.
Because I had asked for 55 at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Just using the 99 that we
But
have to
The
eventually.
town would only first order 55.
What'd you say, I'm sorry?
We're not, do you want to plant all 99 in the beginning?
No, I would say you plant. the
I
ones
would
around
say
pick-
get the-
pickleball court,
Pickleball.
plant the ones around the pickleball cart.
And then get
do the ones
the,
fr- By the end of the projects, you have to have the 99,
Yes.
not
right,
at the
Not-
start of like
Yeah.
day
but
one.
maybe find out how wide they grow. So that then we know the dimensions of the pickleball court, figure out if we did just not plant them in front of the two doors, how many could we plant around?
Well, that's what we did.
Yeah, we
That's-
had some.
Oh, I
We
thought
already
one,
did that.
no.
We already did.
Right,
all
right,
that.
right. But I thought by the,
We left one side open,
we left one side open,
but we
We
still,
don't want
we don't
that
want it
side
to be
covered.
closed off.
right,
We'll plant the other trees somewhere else,
Yeah.
like we have to,
We
and
have spots.
yeah, we have spots, we put them in the picture.
yeah, in front of the
Even if it's
portalet
bocce,
on
it
the
won't hurt to have it
Oliver's
over there.
property.
If we have to do that, then
But anyway, from Gardner Supply, a reasonable price.
Awesome,
Loves that man.
perfect,
Very nice people, to deliver, to,
Great.
Work with. So I've given this as Duncan. So,
thanks, Fran.
so, wait, let me ask a question. Do we have to put that out to bid?
no. At 55, they're under 5,000, under 5,000.
Oh, so you would do it in two orders?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Oh, good girl. Good girl. All right. Any other updates from members of the committee?
Schedule our next meeting.
Look at the time.
We gotta schedule our next meeting.
It's been so long.
I know, I know.
I got too many other committees.
All right.
Busy enough.
So do we want to do like maybe the, I don't know, third week of March? I don't think we really have anything because John's gonna update. And he'll get back. I mean, we could always change it if he got back to us and said, we're ready to go. Like he pushed us. Cause he's like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. I'm like, okay,
February is a short month.
right.
It's like the
Rough for
second
me.
week.
Second week of March.
Sure.
And then we can push it out.
Okay, if we needed to. So are we talking the week of the 10th or the 17th? So the first week is the 3rd, but that's town meeting.
Not that
That's,
week.
well, it used to be town meeting. It's the election. The 4th, so the week of the 10th or the 17th. Okay,
Anybody have any conflicts that week?
the
Trips?
I made
the week of the 10th.
We're trying to go away on what's the Tuesday of? The 11th. But You don't necessarily need me.
Yeah, we do.
Yes, we do.
If we go away, we're going away for a week, the 11th through the 18th.
So we would do. then
So
we would
let's
have
do
to
it the 20th, Thursday night, the 20th. We don't have to do Thursday, I mean, but yeah. Thursday, March 20th. And if John calls and says he has something,
We'll go from
You
there.
can move
we could always do,
for as long
yeah.
as you want it.
exactly.
Okay.
Great job. Yeah.
Colony for close?
Anybody,
I move to adjourn.
A second.
all those in favor signify. Well, I'm sorry, what? Okay, sorry.
At the next meeting for an agenda item, a discussion about the open meeting laws.
Why?
I'm not sure that.
We're not experts on it. So I feel like you've asked the questions that we needed to know. We're being monitored by Duncan and Josh. I just,
Do you, I guess I'm, I mean, do you think we're breaking laws?
I'm not sure, because I think that there have been times where I have responded to Janie answering a question.
you're allowed to.
Can do that.
One-on-one,
As long as
have
it's
many
not more than
conversations.
3 people.
And as long as there's no decisions made via email.
Which nothing has been made. No decisions have been made via email. We don't even 90% of the time, nobody comments on anything. Like
As
that,
long as you don't make decisions via email. And it's just like,
It's
so
information.
you and Jeannie can talk about everything in detail as much as you want, so long as you're not including 2 of us.
because you two don't have any power or
Individualized.
authority to make any decisions for our board. If it was 3,
4.
that's
You
a
have to have
4. If you have 4, that's where you get into trouble. Like if we were to have a party, like only 4 of us could go. If
3,
3 of us,
unless it was warned.
unless it was warned.
If we were gonna be talking about this
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Personal lives, like, come on.
But as long as, I mean, you and I were like, that's how we were able to meet with Ben and John Lynn,
Is you had
the
left
3 of
them.
us. That's how the 2 were able to meet on the playground. Because remember, a couple times when we were trying to get people over at Volunteers Green, we said, remember, and even at Brown's Court, remember, we can only have 3
You would
here.
double check who was going. So then I'd
Exactly.
be like, well, then I won't go because I want Jeannie to go, etc. So, and
Is-
it's, you can send out as information, these quotes,
Yeah.
things that you were gathering, as long as nobody then comments back and you guys are making a decision, nothing is wrong. You're allowed to distribute the information in advance of the meeting in that way, as long as nobody is commenting back and making decisions.
You know who, Duncan's not the person to go to. Absolutely not. You know who you should call? And that's why we pay them. Call the Secretary of State's office and ask them any questions you want about open meeting. If you go on their website, they also have a great
Well, you sent us.
information on open meeting laws. But I think you would feel better hearing it from one of their experts at the Secretary of State's office. And what we just all said about, we're a committee of this many, and sometimes we meet as 3s, but like when we met, we never make decisions as 3s. But we meet as 3 to gather information, but we never vote until it's back here and presented again,
Because
like,
3 wouldn't be a majority vote.
right. But seriously, Tess, they are so awesome there at Secretary of State's office. And it's an 800 number. Call them and just say you're on a committee in Richmond. You just want to make sure that you're understanding open meeting laws correctly. And they have somebody that's their purview. That's all they do is open meeting. Or Vermont Leagues of Cities and Towns.
Call them, they're the ones that are problem, publicizing the changes. It's the Vermont Leagues of Cities and Towns that are publicizing and open meeting law changes. And also a good person.
But they're 2 organizations that are so on top of it. but tell them your concerns.
You have to be specific.
Yeah. I mean, do you have a specific thing that you think we might have violated?
Well, I just think that we, at times, I think on this last one. I think that there was more than one draft. I'm not sure that this is the original, but I'll have to go back in my notes.
What about the minutes? Or, yeah,
Yeah, but that wasn't distributed to everyone because I didn't see multiple versions of the draft. So that means that it wasn't ever making decisions as a group of four.
No. That's,
It was Jeannie, Fran sent her comments to Jeannie. That's two people. Other people
I didn't
sent their
send comments. I apologize.
I didn't send comments, but other
I-
people, and that went, and that's what you're supposed to do, is she distributed the minutes. And then you're supposed to send the comments back as an individual. And then the piece that we missed is because she wasn't here, we didn't have the updated version to share at this meeting to approve it with all
So
of the edits.
use that as a thing and say, this is how our committee does it to make sure we have incredibly accurate minutes. And see if we are doing something wrong. I don't believe we are at all.
I think, yeah, I think we're getting down
Yeah.
below.
The minutia, yeah. But I want you to feel good about it and I know there is one thing that we need to be on the agenda, but we don't need it now. We need to pick the color of the pickleball courts. So that's in the back of my head. Don't let me forget, because the contractor needs to order that stuff. So at the next minute, the meeting,
Does it need to order it before our next meeting,
I
depending on where it's coming from? and
don't
what's
know. I
going
know
on with
Duncan
the
said he
country?
called and the contractor is all ready to go. So let's not hold him up. At the next meeting, let's pick a color. Will you bring your book in?
Can you find out if he's gonna need it before then, cause March,
That's true.
and who knows where
Could you
that stuff's coming
find
from?
out if he needs the colors before March, before our next meeting? Okay,
Find out. Contractor.
yeah,
From Duncan.
from Duncan,
We
ask,
looked through Duncan.
yeah, work through Duncan, and Duncan may say, will you just call him and find out? Just find out what answers or what items may he need answers to, so that the last thing in the world I want to do is hold up that contractor. If he can order those I think it's coding now, let him do it. But I know you had a book with different color schemes.
I did, Duncan did.
Oh, Duncan did. So, yeah, we need to do that.
Yeah, cause I'm just saying, you never know where he's getting that coding from, and if certain tariffs take place and all that
Mhm.
stuff, that's gonna jack. the
If
price.
that's right, if he's getting from Canada, that's right. Never thought of that. So if you could do that, that would be great. But I know I think that's the only decision that we need to make is color choices.
So we also have to sign.
That
That
can
doesn't-
wait.
Right, that can wait.
Yeah. Just what he.
Well,
Yeah.
We know that.
Yeah, we can get that verbiage after. But if,
After essentially,
after it gets installed,
When we know there are pickleball courts.
yeah.
Really?
You should have seen the people at Camel Sump playing pickleball tonight.
Oh.
We had a basketball and they were like all waiting like we used to do for volleyball. They were like, okay, Robin Claremont
Oh.
is up there. She's a good pickleball player. I was like, whoa, she's good.
Lisa, are we all set?
so are we,
Yeah, are we done?
Are we good? Okay. All right. All those in favor of ceasing the meeting signify by saying aye. All those opposed. Good job, guys. Oh my God, look at this. 20 of 9.